Absolutely, man.
Cool.
All right, Paul. So tell us about the Sigma 85mm. What are you seeing, man?
So, got it right here. Focus.
Pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back to your face.
Boom. Ow.
Perfect. There you go.
There you go.
There it is. Okay. Just for comparisons, I've got my personal 85 G Master next to it. Now, with the, as you can see, it's slightly shorter. And just to be a little bit fair, I'm going to take the lens hood off of both of them.
Is one more pleasantly plump than the other?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one enjoys more cinnamon rolls. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Okay. So here they are, Saints lens hoods. Okay. As you can see, the G Master is slightly larger, longer, taller, and heavier. The front element, it's also slightly. Actually, no, sorry. Front element is identical in size. The lens cap is quite a bit larger on the Sony one, but here it is. Okay. It's pretty darn light. It's just a hair over 600 grams compared to the Sony, which is almost double in weight. They're both f1.4 maximum apertures, and they both can stop down to f16. And on the side, I'm gonna put the cover back on so I don't smudge the front element. On the side here, as you can see, got the autofocus. Is it focus? There we go.
Pull it back, man. Pull it back. Pull it back.
Is that better?
More.
You've got the you got the AF MF switch. Got the autofocus lock button, and you can also declick the aperture ring. And on the other side, there's also a lock for you to switch between auto mode or just locking the aperture manually. So far, optically, it's a pretty good lens, and for it's like $1,200, which is about roughly $500 cheaper than the Sony. You're getting comparable image quality. Now, what we did see, and we've confirmed with Sigma, is that there is some optical distortions with the lens. So you're going to want to actually turn on distortion compensation within your E-mount cameras. It's depending on your camera. It's usually in the first tab and the second and third page. So yeah, I guess let's take a look at some of the images, and we could go through our first impressions with the lens so far.
I'm so sad that this is the case, man.
What's that?
The pin cushion distortion.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was just, you know, we Chris and I actually were out and about, and I was like, oh, let me just take a look, you know, take a photo of. This was not planned at all. I just, you know, oh, here's a cool pattern. Let me take a photo of it, and then immediately I noticed, like, oof. You know, it kind of speaks for itself, and that's what prompted us to reach out to Sigma about the lens.
When we reached out to Sigma, I actually talked to them myself. They said that you really should turn on optical correction. In order for them to get the lens this small and this affordable, they had to make a couple sacrifices. Yeah.
And yeah, so we just, you know, the bokeh though is actually quite pleasing. There is a little bit of compression on the video, but you know, we're gonna share these images on the site, and you can judge them for yourself. Yeah, it's ridiculously sharp. Yeah, you can see, here's our friend Kevin. Caught us snapping a photo of him.
Let's go in.
Oh, you're gonna do him dirty?
He do himself dirty. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, so Kevin is it's actually a member of the Triads. No, he's really not.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, and this was ISO 6400, I believe. So
on the A7R3, right? No, 4.
R4, yeah. which it's A7R4 is not known for its high ISO performance, but that's not too shabby at all. And we could keep going. So yeah, we started with a bunch of low light samples, and we're gonna see some in daylight as well.
Oh, let me keep going. Hold on. So we were here.
At Kevin,
Yes,
yeah.
we were there.
Yeah. So yeah, the colors are pretty good. And I'll talk about the difference in a bit when we do a direct comparison against the Sony. But yeah, I really am liking the bokeh. Now here's the one thing. Go back real quick, please. So for the people that like to just pixel peep and like zoom all the way into images, the bokeh it does tend to fisheye a bit as it goes towards the periphery, as you can tell on the lower left hand corner here. So if that type of thing bothers you, this may not be the right lens for you. But most people, won't really notice that type of thing.
I don't know, man. I like character.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Also, like, it just if you're using it for portrait and you're centering your subject, it actually kind of almost frames your subject nicely.
I feel like this would do noses really well because, like, instead of making it bulge, it'll like make it like.
Yeah, we're gonna see that in a little bit.
Oh man, you did some guy dirty, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just really,
this dude right here, man, look at that schnoz.
That's Mufasa.
All right, what did you do to him?
What did Scar do to him?
Oh, jeez. Continue though. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so now we have some daylight samples. You can see the fall off. Go back real quick first. Like, just look at the caution tape. You can see the fall off is very gradual and very pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and this is a 1.4. It's not a 1.2 lens like some of the other Sigmas out there. So that's pretty impressive.
Did you say the other Sigmas out there?
Yeah, the 35 is a 1.2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, these are Sigma colors.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it definitely has that warmer color cast to it. But yeah, it's it's really, really good at separating your subject. Okay, so yeah, here's some of the portrait examples. Obviously, this is an 85. So still got more portrait tests I need to do with it. It's a little more challenging to do right now, obviously because of COVID.
Is this Williamsburg?
It is not. It is Astoria Park.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
How is it with the focusing on the Sony? Is it comparable to the GM, or is it?
It is comparable. Now I did update the firmware to the latest available one on the A7R4, and I'm seeing comparable results in terms of AF performance, which is good because the autofocus is already pretty fast on the 85, and that's arguably their slowest focusing prime. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. Okay, so now we come to some direct comparison.
What a beautiful brick wall. Such a beautiful wall.
The biggest, the brightest. Yeah. Yeah, so we've got now we've got a couple of direct examples. So this particular one was shot on the 85G Master with distortion compensation off at wide open. And then if you compare this shot to the next shot, Chris, you can see that there's virtually no difference, with the exception for the slight difference in exposure because the cloud just came through.
And you said this was with distortion control off?
This is on, and this is off.
This is off. The only difference was because a cloud just rode through.
Okay.
So that's a slight difference in exposure. But other than that, you can see there's no, drastic changes between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go to the next image, oof.
This is off.
Ooh.
Yes, right away you can see it's apparent. Also, you can note the difference in color. It's definitely.
Jeez.
That is significant.
Yeah, it's like to the point where I noticed it with my naked eye before. That's what led us to kind of reach out to Sigma about it.
Right.
So if
Man, I'm blind and I noticed it.
Yeah, so just, you know, if you do go for this lens, just make sure that you remember to turn this off. Otherwise, you're going to be correcting the distortions in post. And now this is the same performance in f4, and there's also f8 as well. And you can see the distortion basically continues throughout the aperture range.
So this is on,
first
off.
two, yeah, first two are G master, and then the next two are the Sigmas. You can, yeah,
Jesus.
it's still there.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a big compromise for them to have to make the lens just a tiny bit smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit smaller. So, but you know, so that's the thing, right? Because you could see with the Sony, it's bigger, heavier, and longer. But even without the distortion correction enabled, you're pretty much getting the same exact image.
So I'm going now between the Sigma 85. This is compensation on, and then this is the Sony with compensation on. I still like the Sony. This is the Sigma.
Yeah.
And this is the Sony.
Yeah, I will say there is ever so slightly better corner sharpness on the Sigma, wide open, but it's negligible. And for most people, this is a portrait lens, you know, so your subject is going to be somewhere in the center. So corner sharpness isn't something that's as critical here compared to like something much wider. But yeah, I think color-wise, I think the Sony is a little bit better. The Sigma is definitely on the warmer side,
Yeah,
with light green tint.
That color shift when Chris was switching between the Sony and the Sigma, the color shift was very apparent.
Right.
So this is Sigma once again, and then this. Oh, geez,
Oh, this is Sigma,
Sony.
the one that before was Sony.
Hold on, that's a Sigma. That's a Sigma. Is this Sigma?
That's Sony.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it's, you could tell which was shot on which. Yeah.
Oh, that's so disappointing. Why?
Yeah, so that's a one thing. It's if you're doing any work that's, you know, requires you to be absolutely color accurate, you're probably gonna want to have a color checker with you just in case, just because it's like color shift. You know, although, you know, you could also argue that it does give the lens some character. So yeah, it's not a perfect lens, but for what Sigma is asking for it, you're getting a lot. So whether or not you want to spend the extra 500 plus for the G Master, you know, it's up to you. You know, you're getting something a little lighter, smaller, and maybe 95% of the way there in terms of optical quality and image quality. So yeah, it's kind of it's a personal decision that you would have to make.
I think a lot of people also they might go ahead and they might like work with us a little bit more in post-production to really flatten things out. Personally, me, I don't know. Like, I could easily just go ahead and click a button and say, hey, undo the distortion. I get that. It's just, I don't know. There's also the color shift. I mean, I like warmer colors, but I also white balance film white balances normally, and
right.
I don't know if I like that.
I've done both, and I've noticed it's that warm tone, that warm shift is there, regardless of whether I let the camera do auto white balancing or if I'm, you know, setting it to like 5500. So yeah, it's, you know, it's so far, despite the quirks, I would say, still a pretty good lens. You know, so if you prefer warmer colors, this may be a right lens for you. It's also cheaper, so you know. But
have you shot with it in the rain yet?
Not yet. It may rain tomorrow, so we will see. Yeah, I'm waiting for rain.
And the autofocus in low light was better than that, obviously, 100 to 400 you were using before, right?
Yeah, but you're talking about what, 5 or 6 stops of light difference?
Yeah, but you shot with it at f4. Like, have you done a comparison? Like, curious.
What do you mean, f4 on the 85 and f4
on the 100 to 400?
I can't go to f4. It's an f5 263.
Oh, you know what? Don't worry about it then.
Yeah, it's a significant difference in terms of light transmission.
Yeah, I'm just curious about it though, because some people might be like, you know, should I get a prime or should I get a zoom? But I guess, you know, we're waiting for that Sigma 70 to 200 anyway. So
also, if you're talking about a prime in the 400 to 600 range, be prepared to drop a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first party ones from Sony are both $1,300. So if you got the scratch, you know, and you've got the if you've got the bicep strength to lug that thing around all day, you know, be my guess. That thing
did you mean 13,000?
Yes. What I said,
you said 1,300. I was like, man, I'm gonna buy one right now.
Sorry, I wish it was 1,300. Yes, $13,000.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah, and they come with their own basic. They're not Pelican cases, but they come with their own hard cases. So yeah.
Yeah.
They also come with a person that will actually like bring the lens around with you when you sign up for pro support.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like buying a Ferrari that you can only drive in the track. They'll deliver it to a track for you.
Well, thanks a lot, man.